All right, hi guys. I am doing a video on a liver flush. So I've got this new split camera, which is very helpful. So I can add a little picture down here so we can have a look. Yeah, interesting pictures, huh? I can even show you a picture of mine, which looks similar to that, which I did last month, interestingly enough. Probably this one. No, I can't point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I have done 12, I think about 12 in the last 4 years approximately, and I'm still getting them out like that. Probably that top right one, not the hand in the bowl. I could share on here, but it's a bit gross. I don't mind. I don't mind actually. I sent it to some people, some friends and stuff. So yeah, what does a liver flush entail? So a liver flush is more of a process. I don't want you to think it's a diet. I'm not a fan of diets. It's a cleanse process that gets rid of these stones from the liver. These stones build up in the liver, and they also then pile up and fall into the gallbladder when they're overloaded. And this is what they may be called gallstones. And the gallstones get they get harder and bigger. But this is when they've built up way too much in the liver to start with. Okay. So in a Western, just a physical point of view, build up of toxins, build up of fats, or an overload of bile needed because we've eaten very high toxic or high fat food. In an emotional level or spiritual level, it can be a lot of emotional stagnation is what holds in the liver, which causes depression. So if you have loads of these in the liver, we all have them in the liver, and even children do. Okay, so we have lived in a world that has not taught us how to, number one, detox properly, number two, release emotions properly from childhood stuff, whether even if we've had a great childhood and we're very happy with our childhood and our memories are fine, we still have not been able to process certain emotions because we haven't been taught how to do it. Okay, so my childhood was at a certain level. I had deeper abuse, which I woke up to a few years ago, which is how I sort of went on this process of flushes. I also was an acupuncturist actually, so there was two reasons. There was my own healing of PTSD, I'll go into that later, and depression. And also I was studying a lot with cancer patients, breast cancer patients, and people with, especially women with right shoulder pain. So when you have a build-up of all this, you often get right in the back here where it feels like it's like under there and you just can't get it. You can get a lot of pain in there where you constantly have to sort of like get in there. That is a build-up of the liver is not moving, liver chi stagnation, we call it in acupuncture. So let's keep back to it. So how do we do a liver flush? So it's a process, not a diet. Okay, so what you do to prepare is very important, and it is just to prepare so these stones can come out in a nice, comfortable, happy way. The diet that you go on for this process is literally your body is a machine. So there's a difference than going on a sort of detox fad diet. This is what I'm trying to keep separate. Okay, so what you need to do first of all, if you're eating red meat, it's about frequency. So the lower frequency food you're eating, which is processed food, and heavy meats. And so red meat and processed food, sugary sweets and things like that. So you need a good 4 weeks off that. 1 to 3 months, I would suggest. It needs to come, your intestines need to be very clear for these stones to come out in a happy, comfortable way. So once you're off of red meat, that's the main thing to start with. And then white meat, then fish, and fats. Okay, the main thing is the fats actually. So whether this is an avocado, which is very healthy fat, or nuts and things like this. So you're trying to clear the liver. You're giving the liver a rest and a detox. Again, it's the process. So what the liver does is it processes very high fat food with the bile. It does a lot of other things, I understand, but I'm just keeping this simple. So every time you have quite a heavy food to process or high fat food, it needs to do a lot of work, and it releases a lot of enzymes, lipase, bile. It does a lot of stuff to aid with the stomach to then process and detox it so that it can come through the stools. So you're basically giving your liver a little bit of a rest, okay? And then the pressure, the build up in the liver actually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So actually sort of a few days or a week before the liver flush, you can get quite angry and frustrated, and it builds up like this. Okay, and this means it's really, really ready to clear out. So then the actual process of the flush is 24 hours, and you drink in certain times during the day. You drink Epsom salts. What this does is it opens up the ducts in the liver, and it allows a bit more space for them to come out. Okay, and then in the evening, so you do this during the day, and then in the evening at 9:45. The time is interesting for an acupuncturist because gallbladder cleansing time is 11 to 1 o'clock, and then the liver is 1 till 3 in the morning. So at 9:45, you will then drink a cup of olive oil mixed with grapefruit juice, and sometimes I add a lemon and an orange. This is to give the built up liver, which is like now at the very, very high pressure. So imagine your boiler is ready, and then you give it that olive oil, and it then can release. So it releases, it moves everything to process that fat. But remember, you've got nothing in your system. You've had a bit of a cleanse. There's nothing in there. So what it can do, it can allow those stones to come out with the open ducts that the salts have done, and it allows it all to release. And then the next day, you produce these stones. Okay, now I'll show you another picture in a minute about the actual liver. So this is a little bit like a liver surgery, like a healthy liver surgery. So those spaces that are left, obviously, when the stones come out, so imagine, it's like one little hole like this. So the liver will then rejuvenate itself, and it will close it over like this. Okay, and then the more of that new liver that you have, there will be great energy in that liver. We call this liver chi, and it will be able to move. So you may process a lot of stagnant emotions as well. So on the spiritual and emotional side of this process, which is amazing, helped me with PTSD, post-traumatic stress, when I had really suppressed memories because of trauma, and it helped my depression, my confidence, my weight, anything to do with weight or skin, anything to do with that is a build-up of toxins, whether you're on a physical level or an emotional level. Two are the same, but I'm not getting into it too much on that subject. This is just a video to help you and how to do the liver flush. So again, the process is coming off. It depends what you eat. So just be aware of how dense is the food that you eat. Food is about frequency and how much process and energy does it take for your body to digest food. Okay, so red meats is first, at least 1 to 3 months. Then chicken. Obviously fats, if you're used to eating a lot of cheese daily in sandwiches and white bread, this has to have a little bit of a rest. And really what you want to do is have some really light food like vegetables and rice, everything that's come from the ground. Your body knows how to digest. If it's come from the ground, your body knows it not as a foreign object. Basically, that's as simple as it is. You can eat butter and things, fats, but I would say about a week beforehand, just try and come off all of this. So really, it's that balance of is it foreign food, as in processed food, and you can Google it, have a little look, but it is to message me if you need to. But it's not the same for everybody about how the process is. But it's very important about how you do the process, because you want that liver to be ready to be really the pressure to be up and then release. Okay, and it's very important for the intestines to be clear. Okay, that is why you come off with all of these foods as well. Okay, and it's good to do like a large intestine cleanse. You can do things like that. Take a wheatgrass in liquid, lots of water. There's bicarbonate clay. There's zeolite clay, which takes out the metals in the intestines. So there's lots of ways to do this. It is suggested that you do an enema before and afterwards, which is a flush of water in the bottom. So it's not a pleasant thing. None of it's that pleasant, I have to say, but we do it for the after effects. The after effects are life changing. And if you think that you're clearing out 30 years of toxins, it's a pretty good, safe way to do it, and it clears diseases and so many things. So it is worth the process. I promise you, I've done a lot. Now I actually don't do enemas. What I choose to do, because I'm now lighter and I can manage with less food in my diet, I actually just do juicing for about 3 or 4 days, and I use wheatgrass and spirulina and sort of certain superfood powders, and I'm fine. But years ago, I did used to eat a lot of meat and a lot of cheese and a lot of sweets and a lot of wine and a lot of things like this. I actually still drink wine now and again, but not in a to get drunk way, as I had problems with before. But this with the liver flush is interesting. So it's more about the fats actually. So if you want a small glass of wine for about a week up to it, this is okay, and it can actually help with the moving of the liver. But this is not to be. This is I'm talking a little glass, not glasses. So it's just knowing the body. The main thing is the fat. So if you're used to sort of having a lot of dairy with cheeses and things like that, and maybe sort of heavy pasta dishes a lot, eggs aren't too bad. You could have eggs 5 to 7 days before. Again, as long as you're not having 3, 4, 5, 6 every day. There's a lot of diets out there, like keto diet and stuff, which are high fat. And I'm not criticizing any form, but for this process, it is important to be aware. If you're on a high fat diet, then you need to prepare a little bit longer to get your body ready to do this process. About the second or third time, I did it a bit too fast and I did get stuck stones. So that's why I'm really, really, really clear on doing a very good. It's a bit like painting your house or painting a room or painting a wall. Okay, you could just go in and start painting it, but you're going to make a mess. All right, so the preparation, the actual painting of the wall, the flush is 24 hours, is easy. The emotional stuff is a different subject, because that can come up. But again, it's processing it. But painting a wall, you need to move your furniture, you need to wash down the walls to get the best effect. This is, and then masking tape and everything around it. So to do a good job is the preparation. So I do. I'm very strict about the preparation of a liver flush. But once you have mastered it and done like 1, 2, 3, you get to know your body and you get to know what you do. Okay, so the first 3, you might be a bit nervous or what's going to happen, like anything. And then once you've done 3, like I can now go, right, I don't need to look at what I'm doing, and I can now go, right, I feel like I need to do one. I'm going to do one in a few days. And my diet now is able to be quite light, because I've done a lot of these and I've done a lot of processing, that I can kind of just think a week and I'll do one. Okay, but that comes with time. And I'm also prepared if I'm in the right place emotionally to release. You can also get like repressed memories back and things like this. And when you do get these, you might not want them back, but when you get and process these memories, you actually get part of you back. Okay, you get your true self. I got my confidence, my personality sort of came back. I don't think I knew who I really was actually for many, many years. So that the beauty in it is that you just get back and you're fulfilled, and addictions go. Yes, life changing. So any questions, do drop me a line. And yeah, just Google some pictures, have a look at it. There's a lot out there that's saying, no, don't do it and all of this. But, you know, you get that with everything in life, you know, you might die. And so, you know, if you need to ask any questions, ask someone who's done a lot of them. And I'm happy to answer or help in any way. Okay. Lots of love and good luck. Happy flushing.